Hey, oh, shit. Man, a little under the weather. Let's restart that.
Definitely, you should definitely keep that in, dude.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, let's try that again.
That was funny.
It's Wednesday, December 27th in lovely Los Angeles, California. Thank you guys for tuning in. This morning, we released the best of the Big Brown Breakdown for 2017. Chin put in a lot of work to get those done, so we appreciate you, Chin. Those turned out good. It's funny, I never watch any or really listen to any of the podcasts I do, but I wanted to go over the best of, and so I went through it. Man, we've had a good year.
It's crazy when you look back how many awesome guests
I feel like I've been doing this for 6 years.
It does feel longer.
It's just been a year. For some reason, yeah. We started this last January, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy. It's not even a full year, actually. So
no, and you go through all the guests between Stone Cold Steve Austin, Joey Diaz, Chael Sonnen, TJ Dillashaw, Cyborg, Brian Ortega, Lorenz Larkin, Tito Ortiz, Rampage. I mean, we've had all sorts of guests on this bad boy. All sorts.
I actually have a whole list.
Boss
here,
Rutan, do you have the list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget who's on there. Of course, my boy Tony Jeffries, Glenn Holmes from Box and Burn.
Oh, there we are.
Ian McCall was a fun one. Remember the Lyoto Machida and Hunter Gracie one? The power went out.
That was one of our most successful ones, too.
Yeah, it was fun, right?
Yeah.
The power just pieced out on us here. Phil Davis, one of my favorite people in the business. Elias Theodoro, first team all-dime piece. Henner and Brian Ortega, that's where you guys got introduced to Brian Ortega and his story. Look at that kid now, fucking killing it. Boss Rutan, legend. Joey Diaz, legend. Rampage Jackson, fun one. TJ Dillashaw, legend. Justin Wren, homie. Jason Ellis, homie. Tony Jeffries' brother. Mario Lopez. Remember we went to Mario Lopez
it's so
studio?
fun to look back at that, dude. When you look back at how you guys are talking about it, and Mario's like, there's no way it's happening. And you're like, dude, it's happening. It's so funny to look back at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Mario Lopez. He's running a tight ship there, doesn't have a lot of time. And he's like, he's just, he's Hollywood Mario Lopez.
Definitely busy,
he wouldn't get out of character and just, hello, Brendan, how are you doing? All right, man, I'm good. Why are you talking like that? There's no cameras on. But, that's who he is. He's a genuine dude. Knows his boxing. I'll give him that. He knows his boxing. And he was a little late. He did want to take me up on that $100,000 bet that Conor would win rounds. He just came in late, so it never happened. But Mario Lopez has balls, and I appreciate that guy. And, yeah, we got an argument on the podcast. I wasn't agitated. I was a little offended because I was like, oh, what do you think about this Mayweather-Conor stuff? And he goes, won't even entertain it. Not happening. It's all bullshit. Well, no, it's happening. He goes, I don't want to talk about it. I went, well, you're on my show, bro. So I'm telling you, I have inside source. It's happening. Remember that?
I remember being a little afraid. I thought, oh, crap, we're going to get kicked out.
No.
I thought that for 1 second.
Yeah, I did get kind of heated there. I love the guy, though. There's no, ill will there. I definitely have him back on, or I'll go on his. He does know his boxing, that is for sure. Lorenz Larkin, that was a fun one. Chris Cyborg, maybe the podcast of the year.
A wonderfully great podcast. You really got to know who she was. She's so sweet.
Right?
Never would have thought.
A lot of people are rooting for her now.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't before, but once you hear her story and just her trials and tribulations, like, Jesus Christ. Even I didn't realize how bad it was. And you just, she got choked up in here. I'm like, God damn it, I'm rooting for that girl now. World champion. And has a big fight this Saturday night against, and to me, that fight, and we'll get into it obviously on this podcast, breaking down UFC 219. But to me, that fight will let us know who's the best female fighter of all time. My boy Robin Black and Paulie Malignaggi, we've had on a bunch.
Yeah.
Andre Berto and Paulie Malignaggi on the same one. That was all the lead up to the Floyd Mayweather Conor fight. That was a fun time, man. Everyone went through that together, man. We got through it, guys. Came out alive on the other side. Luke Thomas, got to be honest, he's one of my favorite guests we've had on here. I love talking with Luke Thomas, going back and forth, little MMA talk rallying going on back and forth. I consider him an expert, one of the top 5 in the industry, and he's just been doing it for a long time. Just a nice dude. A lot of these guys who are in this business, their egos or the way they treat people, the way they talk about fighters, I just can't get down with. But Luke Thomas doesn't have a bad bone in his body, and he is an expert, and he actually trains. He's a big dude. He's nice, and
funny guy too.
Yeah, surprisingly very funny. Yeah, surprisingly very, very funny. If you listen to a show on MMA Sirius, I'm sorry, Sirius MMA or whatever.
Sirius XM.
Sirius XM, I think it's MMA, whatever it is on there.
Yeah.
The Luke Thomas show. But his YouTube, his breakdowns, if you're a super geek into technical stuff, and just his YouTube channel in general, it's one of the best out there. If you're super into mixed martial arts, Luke Thomas's YouTube page is legit as they come. Chael Sonnen, one of my favorite people on earth, great guest. Tony Jeffrey, Glenn Holmes. We broke down, I think, Triple G Canelo for that one. And then this one was surprising. Rory McDonald and Douglas Lima. So Rory, friend of mine, known him forever, trained together, love the guy. Rory was good as usual. Rory's Rory. Rory off camera, much more entertaining, much more of a character. He's actually really funny. He's a really good dude. On camera, stone cold killer. And that's whatever this persona he wants to give off. Then Douglas Lima, I remember going into it going, I guess I'll take Douglas Lima. Remember? I was like, yeah, let's do it. They're fighting. Let's bring in Douglas Lima. And Douglas Lima, first team all-surprise guest of the year. What a great guy. And a great story.
Yeah.
I love Douglas Lima now. It's hard not to root for him. I'm biased as fuck. If you guys ever listen to this podcast, if you're a friend of mine, if you come on the show and I like you, I ride and die with you. I'm biased as fuck for Douglas Lima now. Yeah. Kevin Lee called in before his big fight against Tony Ferguson. Alan Jouban, first team dime piece. He has a fight coming up. And then, again, these last two were hitters, man. Deontay Wilder was amazing in here. Shout out to Showtime. Deontay Wilder, heavyweight champion of the world. He had his fallout with Luis Ortiz. They're actually fighting in March now. I think I'm okay to say that. If not, I apologize. Showtime. Deontay Wilder's fighting Luis Ortiz in March. I think it's March 3rd. So that's finally happening. God, I hope that's official.
I'll look it up.
Through my sources, I know it's happening.
It says March 3rd, 7 days ago.
Clocks reignite March 3rd. That's the plan, March 3rd. Nothing confirmed here. But that's the plan. So Deontay Wilder's finally fighting Luis Ortiz, which I'm sure I'll be doing stuff with them for that. And then Josh Thompson. It's hard to pick one of my favorites of the year, but Josh Thompson, I just have a good, chemistry, good flow.
Dude, my friend who's a diehard fan of the show, Big Brown Breakdown, he watches it over T-Fat-K because he loves MMA. He said that was one of his favorite shows.
Yeah,
with Josh Thompson, the way you guys talked about everything.
He's great, man. Just his knowledge of the game. He has his own podcast. Tune into it. Josh
Sammy
Thompson. Sammy and the Punk. Yeah. I think me and Josh are gonna do a lot more together too, because LA's an easy trip for him, and just his wealth of knowledge, man, is insane. And again, when I hear this, remember Josh Thompson is a captain of AK, probably the most successful gym of all time. I mean, they're up there. You top 3. Mount Rushmore as far as MMA gyms go. They're definitely on there when we think about their roster and who they've brought up and the champions and stuff like that. Josh Thompson's team captain there. He's been there the longest. It's him, DC. There's some other guys, but he's definitely been there the longest. And when you hear him talk, he didn't even do it justice on the Big Brown Breakdown. But off air, me and him grabbing coffee, just talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov and just how much of a monster he is. And I love this stuff. Like getting that insight in, because he trains with them. Yep. He coaches them. He sees them every day. He sees everything, all the moves he's making. So when you have a hands-on guy like that with that inside perspective, and remember, I'm not a journalist. I'm one of the guys. I just talk to him the way we talk about anyone. But when he's telling me this stuff, I'm like, what? How the fuck is this guy going to lose? How's he going to lose, man? When you hear it, I know he doesn't want to give too much away on here, and he touched on it a little bit, but man, when he started talking about Khabib, I was like, what the fuck? How is anyone going to beat him? Mm-hmm. And obviously will probably sway my decision for the picks, but even before that, I've heard stories of Khabib, but once you get it confirmed by a guy like Josh Thompson, it's pretty crazy. You go up to Matt Mitrione. Obviously, we got him on right after his knockout of Fedor. We had Bader on. Love Bader. He's one of the good guys. Keep scrolling up. Bader had a hell of a year, man. Talk about fight of the year. Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's funny. People go, dude, on the Fire and Kid before, when you're on Rogan, you used to shit on WWE. Yeah, I did. I'll be the first one to admit it. It's not that I shit on it. It's when people compare, The Rock to LeBron James. Like, whoa. Different. Or they compare, Brock Lesnar in WWE to the Brock Lesnar in UFC. There's just a difference. And then, met Stone Cold Steve Austin. I watch his show. I start seeing some WWE Raw on TV. Then I see, then me and Stone Cold stay in contact. So I'm like, so I start rewatching some of the old stuff that I was into when I was a kid. Hey, guys, it's okay to be open-minded and change your mind. It's not a line in the sand. I don't give a fuck. Like, dude, you switch back and forth. I decided I like WWE now. Cool, man. I rock WWE shirts all the time. The Ric Flair thing definitely sold me like a motherfucker. There's talks in having him on here. So, yeah, man, I'm a WWE fan now. What of it? T. Ortiz was great. Joe Ban again. Keep going up.
Is
that it?
Yeah, that's from top to bottom, all the guests.
Boom. Good year of guests, man. How many shows have we done total?
This will be 59.
Almost 60?
Yeah. The best of was it's still a show, right? So
yeah, still
58 actual sit down in the studio.
Damn, not bad.
It's a lot, dude. It's actually a lot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just once a week, or sometimes we do twice a week. Like this week with best of twice a week, or if there's a big fight at a guest, I'm gonna do 2 a week. But
I feel like it's a lot.
Yeah, it feels like we've been in the show a lot longer.
So 60 in a year, plus on top of the other shows too. So
yeah, it's a lot. It's so crazy, man, because the Big Brown Breakdown started from, I just wanted to talk more specific about mixed martial arts because I was, Brian's busy, he can't watch all of them, so I felt like I was kind of doing a watered down version of my kind of analyst of mixed martial arts. So I'm like, man, I should just do it on my own. Like so I can talk about it. I remember I called you up, like, yeah, let's do it. I'll be there. So I did that, and then my agent was like, dude, you should, have you ever thought about doing it live? I'm like, Big Brown Breakdown? I'm like, I could do that. Yeah, I said, let me think about it. Let me write out what I think a live show would look like. Because you can't do a live podcast. Those do not work. Some people can do them, and I get it, but I'm always performance first. So I'm like, well, let me write it, make sure it's entertaining for people. And then I was doing more and more stand-up, and I did my first Big Brown Breakdown live at the Ice House in Pasadena, which I'm at tonight with Joe Rogan. The thing's sold out. It's Joe Rogan and friends, and one of his friends. I'll be there doing some comedy. Anyways, and so it started that, and then I've always had kind of these training wheels on everything, because when I got into stand up, it started with the Live Fire and the Kids with Brian, 4 years ago, and it would start with me telling a story for 10 minutes. And then that involved in me doing a set at the Comedy Store. And then those sets evolved into me doing a Big Brown Breakdown live. And that Big Brown Breakdown live, although it was fight-centric, it would give me the ability to perform stand-up on my own with my own crowd and, and do 30 minutes of stand-up. I break down the fights, to do current events like you hear on the show now, and do fan questions. And then that evolved into all stand-up. It's crazy. I didn't write it out like, I'm going to go Fire and Kid live.
Everything happened organically.
Big Brown Breakdown live, and then I'm going to start doing stand-up, and I'm going to sell at the Wilbur Theater.
It's so trippy, too. I remember the day you said, like, let's do it. I was like, hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
I know. And then you were all for
it. Big time, and it became this huge thing, which is awesome. Cool to see. It's cool to look back and see it.
It's cool. It's only been a year, man.
Crazy.
We got a long ways to go. We had some changes come in. Good changes. Nothing. Chin's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I wish I could talk about it. I'm the worst at keeping secrets, but I've kept this one a secret for a while. In the new year, you'll see what we got going on with this show and some other shows I've lined up. It's all good, though. It's all good. This thing's going to get even more fun. I'll put it that way.
Sweet.
I'll be able to announce it soon. I hate not being able to announce it, but what can you do? But anyway, none of this happens without you guys listening. So you guys who subscribe, watch on YouTube, all the sponsors who decide to take a chance on me for this show, especially when I was first starting out. anyone who's left a comment, a question on the Instagram page for me, any of that stuff. I love you guys. So the show doesn't happen without you guys. All right? So let's keep it going. And most people are off work today, so you're not listening to this in your cubicle or whatever you're doing, but hopefully you get around to it. Man, yesterday was on Rogan's show. I don't know why he called it the Joe Rogan MMA show. I have no idea. We talked fighting for maybe 15 minutes, and then the rest was just our normal stuff. Russia, sexual assault, shitty babysitters and nannies, internet, fake news, flu shots, some other shit. Well, I talked a little bit boxing with Billy Joe Saunders, but other than that, and then here's the thing, man. So I haven't had a cheat meal, a cheat snack since Thanksgiving. I drew a line in the sand like I'm going straight keto from Thanksgiving on till I start all this new stuff I'm starting in January with the Boston show and all that stuff. I like to give myself goals, and that's how I can be strict and disciplined. And so yesterday, I worked out in the morning, did hard mitts and a circuit training in the morning. I always fast every morning. I usually don't eat like a strong meal till like 1 or 2. I usually fast. So I quit eating at 7 p.m. and then don't eat the next till whatever, 1 or 2 right after I get done with the show. I'll have some coffee later in the day. And so with Rogan, he's like, oh, let's start at noon. I'm like, all right, well. See, if he goes for 3 hours, we're done by 3. I'll have a snack. I'll be all right. So I'm drinking a coffee when I get there at noon, and then we don't start doing the show like 12:45. Almost 1. And then I have a coffee. Then I have like one of those nitro brews. Then, and so you obviously break the fast with coffee. So then I have it then, and then he does a French press. I have 2 cups of the French press. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't had any food today, man. Any food at all. And then we're going through the show. I'm like, I don't feel great. As we keep going, I keep sweating. I'm like, damn. I mean, just a few months ago, I shit my pants on this show. Here we are now. And Brian's talking about some Jordan Peterson regurgitation thing. And I'm like going in and out of it. I'm sweating. And then finally, I'm like, man, I'm going to get up, go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. It's one of those weird throw-ups. I tried making myself throw up just to feel better because I knew the acidity in my stomach was just off. And then didn't really throw up. And I came back, and I was like, I'll be fine. And I'm still, just not doing well. And then about to close it out, and I just hurled it. I'm talking. It was a trash can like that in Rogan's studio. Yeah. I filled up halfway at least.
Holy crap.
Everywhere. Felt so much better. So then after that, I'm like, all right. I haven't had any cheat meals. I haven't had any carbs. I'm gonna restart everything. I'm gonna throw a cheat meal in. So I had carbs, clean carbs last night, and then I had carbs this morning, and then I'll be back on keto now.
Wait, so how did the throw up happen? Did it happen while everyone was there in front of them?
Oh, yeah. I said, I'm about to throw up, man. They went, really? You look like you're throwing. Rogan goes, your mouth salivating? I went, yeah. He's like, you'll be fine, man. We're almost done. I'm like, all right, bro. Gave you the warning. And then Brian's about to do his dates, and Brian classically goes, don't throw up during my dates. And he's going, I'll be in Funny Bone, Columbus. I'm all, just swirling. And then I'm like, I gotta get my dates in there. So I wipe my mouth off. I'm all, Denver, February 2nd, St. Louis 2nd through the throat. My God. Oh, gosh. People are like, I think Schaub's back on it. Hopefully he didn't relapse. Relapse? The fuck?
Relapse?
I'm not... What?
Drugs.
Yeah, I'm not Amy Winehouse. I'm good, man. You had a little bit of a hiccup with some painkillers. I mean, that's when I was playing sports. I have 0 vices now. Yeah, I'm drinking a Diet Coke. I mean, Diet Dr. Pepper. It's straight poison, but I haven't had one forever, and I'm restarting my diet. But I'm fine. The show is interesting, but I'm fine. How was your holiday, Jim?
It was good. A lot of my friends came from out of town, family, all that stuff.
Nothing too crazy?
We had a pajama Christmas exchange, which is weird for our age.
You just exchanged pajamas?
No. We wore pajamas to our Christmas holiday party.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's all
matching
right.
jammies?
Not just whatever.
Every year we do matching jammies.
I saw your picture. I thought you were so not into that stuff. But
no. When it comes to my son, I'm in.
All right. That's cool.
Anything, I'm in. Anything awesome. If he loves that, I love it. Yeah, I'm definitely into that.
What did you and Jay get each other?
Oh, we got each other's shoes, of course.
Oh, okay.
I got him these new Adidas Boost, and then he got me these John Elliott Air Force Ones. I'm kind of in Air Force One kick right now. Air Force One kicks and boots. I got these Taft boots. They're from England. Look them up. I think just Taft, T-A-F-T. Kind of like the Fire and the Kid, but swap the A and F. Taft boots. Yeah, I got those. They're an English boot company. Everyone thinks Italy makes the best boots. Definitely England, by the way. Yeah. So you see those. No thanks. Yeah, see the boot. Mine's the Express. See the second one in on the top? Yeah, I got those, but in espresso brown. I already have a light brown boot, but those are dope, right? Those are my favorite boots right now.
For you, yeah, definitely.
You're not feeling them?
I can't imagine wearing these now.
Really?
I mean, on me, no.
Just too much for you?
Yeah, that's a little too much for
I'll
me.
probably wear them tonight to the ice house.
Sweet.
Flicks on some people at the ice house. Some boots. Yeah, as you get older, man, I'm into fucking boots right now.
Someone sent me a thing where Connor's is it his wife or fiance?
Why is it a wife?
I'm not even sure. So
Serious girlfriend, dude.
The mother of his kid.
Yeah.
She was wearing the same Louis Vuitton boots as that you have.
Gucci boots.
Oh, Gucci boots.
I know. I thought people were tagging me that. I thought about commenting, going killer boots, man, but I just stayed away from it.
That's funny.
Yeah. I love her boots, by the way. Gucci has a new pair of boots like that with that buckle on it, but they're black with like these gold bees on them. They're pretty dope. If you're not in boots right now, you are stabbing your eyes out. So whatever. Yeah, Christmas was good, man. It was good for the little man. You know, he's almost 2, and we took him to Disneyland. It's a great time there. He loved the cars, and
of course,
he loves car, like anything with the cars right now. So we're watching Cars 1, 2, and 3, and then if you have Netflix, there's the Tomater, Tomater, like mini series on there, which he's fucking obsessed with. So I watch those nonstop with him. But when he goes to bed, Papa likes his shows. So the Menendez trial. Remember the Menendez trial?
The twins?
Yeah.
They're sort of twins,
brothers.
Yeah.
No, brothers, not twins.
They're not twins.
One was 21, the other I think was 18 or 19.
Okay.
But
they killed their parents, those guys.
Killed their parents. Remember that? It was kind of around right before the O.J. Simpson stuff was going on. But it's here in Beverly Hills. And I just remember, 90, so I was probably 10 when this was going on, 8 or 9. I remember hearing somewhat about them, like, everyone's like, oh, these rich kids just killed their parents. They're just trying to get their money.
That's what everyone thought.
Dude, when you get into this, it's on A&E and on demand right now. And the final series is on the 31st of December. If this is 31st December, right? Yeah. But you can catch up right now to the first 4. And when you hear how horrible his family life was and in the struggle, and there was a hung jury for the first time, then the retrial, they just got completely fucked by the LA District Attorney Office because of the O.J. Simpson stuff. And you see what's going on, like, damn, you can kind of see now murder. I never agree with, but you can kind of see how they got to that point. All I'm saying, in the words of Eddie Bravo, is look into it. Yeah, because you think it's just these rich kids trying to take their parents' money, and that was not the case. Super interesting. I'm into that right now, and then I'm watching El Chapo. Subtitles, but it's El Chapo.
Yeah, what about him?
It's a series, so it's like Narcos. Okay. With how Narcos, granted they're in Bali or Cali, the Mexico Cali now part of it with the Narcos, but so how they followed around Pablo Escobar. This El Chapo series is how El Chapo started, and it's a whole series. Season 1, season 2.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, all based off true stuff. It's intense. Watching that. And then, did you see Bright on Netflix?
No, what is Bright?
God damn it, Chin. Do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix. I barely watch Netflix, though. So
you barely watch TV?
I barely watch TV.
Yeah, you're always in here working and shit.
No, I'm on the computer, or the TV will be on in the background, like with news.
But you're just on the computer while surfing the web?
Yeah, just looking at stuff.
What do you go to? What's like your site?
I love going to MMA fighting.
Really?
Yeah.
You just read all their shit?
Read their stuff, and then just a bunch of, like I said, I'm into cameras right now, so I'm just researching all that stuff.
Like fucking lenses and stuff?
Everything.
Sounds boring as fuck.
It is.
That's what you're into.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Bright is a movie. It's the first. major like motion picture on Netflix, produced by Netflix, funded by Netflix.
Okay.
The same director who did The Watch.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And the Suicide Squad, which I love both those movies. I know Suicide Squad takes some heat, but you can go kick yourself in the dick in the dirt. So the reason why this movie gets so much hate is, remember, Bright is one of the first movies to go, all right, we're not going to go the traditional route of the movie theater and all that. We're going to go straight to Netflix. You don't need, and we're going to do it right before Christmas, so everyone's home. You don't need to go to the theater and have all that hassle and do all that bullshit. You can stay home. Will Smith, obviously a major blockbuster actor, directed by David Ayer, so you can just go straight to your TV. You can do it from your couch. So of course the old school critics, these movie critics who, you know, they're in bed, they're in cahoots with the movie studios and all that stuff, AMC and all that bullshit, and iPix and whatever theater you go to, and the Magic Johnson theaters. They don't like when someone comes along and goes, think about, remember Blockbuster and then Redbox, like, you don't have to do that. This is way easier. And then Redbox thought they were the shit, and then Netflix came along and swipes out all of that. Well, your movie theater is basically Blockbuster, and Netflix is Netflix. So you're getting this hate from these old school heads. Yeah. Same hate MMA got, you know, by the boxing heads. Just everyone hates change, and they hate, you know, technology and stuff like that. So you can get these old school. Now, is it going to win an Oscar? No. Is it a free movie on your Netflix with Will Smith and a dope-ass orc? And that orc's an amazing actor, too, named Joel Edgerton, who's, you know him from Black Mass. He's been in a ton of stuff. Mystic River. You guys would know him. Look him up. But Joel Edgerton's ridiculous. So it's about, you know, two cops. No one wants to be with this orc who's, you know, it's like an alien type of thing, but he's dope looking. But it's a good movie, for God's sakes. Like you said, is it going to win an Oscar? No. Good enough to watch at home in your undies while eating some fucking brownies? Yes. It's damn entertaining. And there's going to be a part 2. So quit your complaining. Watch it. It's not a waste of your time. It was a good movie. It's Will Smith. Has Will Smith ever made a bad movie? Go. Name one bad movie.
I kind of feel like there was one.
What? Hitch? Wrong. Men in Black? Sure as fuck not. Independence Day? Nope.
No. Maybe that one, or the superhero one, I thought was...
Oh, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that. You're talking about... God, which movie is that?
You want to try guessing it first?
Not Fletch. Something like that. Go to his IMDb. Hasn't made a bad song. Get jiggy with it. He's just... Oh, so first of all, he's the genie in Aladdin, for God's sakes.
Wow.
Bad Boys, what? Suicide Squad, Concussion.
Hancock, that's the one.
I said Fletch, God damn it. Hey, I liked Hancock. After Earth, dope movie.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, with his son?
Yeah.
That's a good movie, man. I Am Legend, classic. Pursuit of Happiness, try not to cry. Keep going down. Shark Tale, fuck yes. iRobot, Bad Boys 2, Men in Black 2, Ali, what the fuck? Legend of Bagger Vance, Wild Wild West, Enemy of the State, dude. What is he? The greatest actor of all time?
You really like
He's
Wild
one of my
Wild
favorites.
West?
He's one of my fucking favorites. God, what a great movie, man! All of this stuff, and don't even get me started on Fresh Prince. What a killer, man! I was crunk for this movie. I celebrate Will Smith to the fullest. Not mad at his music either. What else? Oh yeah, I was gonna say what else we got. Like he was for an event, but either way,
but you're talking about Bright,
and it's free on Netflix, and Bright's awesome. Don't listen to the stupid haters.
So it was awesome, or it was just good?
It's awesome.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. All of LA shuts down from Christmas Eve till next Tuesday. When I mean shut down, I think it's different. You know, I obviously grew up in Denver. I've been around. No other town or city shuts down like LA.
It's true.
The streets, it's like the fucking Walking Dead around here. No one's around. It took me 13 minutes to get to work today. I'm going down 405. You could skateboard down the 405 this morning. If you want, go ahead and jump on your boogie board and skate down that bitch. You'll be just fine. Yeah, there's just everyone leaves town or just I don't know what the fuck everyone's doing. Try not to guess, but sometimes it comes out. Yeah, I have no idea. Man. Mm-hmm. With your agents, I'll send a thing to my team, be like, hey, we got this going, or like I was like, hey, we sold out Boston because it was like a big deal. We sold out, Boston Wilbur Theater, and I send them an email. I get 7, those automatic replies. Sorry, out of the office till January 2nd. I'm like, God damn, that's next Tuesday. But they work so hard all year, and they don't really take holidays off. But all of entertainment, the whole city just shuts down. I've never seen anything like it ever in my life. I'm excited for next week to get back to it. But yeah, that's Boston Wilbur Theater sold out.
That's freaking awesome.
Nuts.
Crazy.
Nuts. Got a big opener. It's Boston. UFC 220 that weekend. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Should be fun.
I was super nervous about even booking a place like the Wilbur Theater, but you guys came through. I love you guys. Should we jump into some current events? I'll shut up about Will Smith. Yeah, I'm a Will Smith dick rider. Same as Ben Affleck. Say something about Will Smith and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, all right, I get some of your arguments, but Will Smith?
He looks so young, too. He's 50-something, right?
You know what? He looked a little bit older in Bright. As soon as he popped on the screen, I went, ooh, Will Smith getting a little older. Dime piece, too.
Let me see.
Kids are tad strange, but whatever.
Not the best picture, but...
He looks good there. You know what?
Yeah,
it might be the mustache.
Looks young.
You're right. He does look young. I was hating on him. You know what? They're making part 2. I told my agent, I'm like, dude, how can I not be an orc in part 2? For sure, let me be an orc.
All right.
And how about Rogan's in Bright? At the beginning, they're playing the orcs on his podcast.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really dope. For sure, let me be an orc next episode.
You could get that done, right? I mean, it's possible. You have the channels to possibly get it done. Mm-hmm. Dude, get it done.
Yeah. I mean, no one would know it's you, but yeah, I could probably make it happen.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but go watch that movie. Let me know what you guys think of it. What do we got in current events? Kind of a quiet time. I feel like everyone's shutting down. Brian's off to Cancun.
Everything's like year-end stuff. If you go online, it's always like a look back, just like what everyone's doing pretty much.
Like the best of?
Yeah, but we're actually putting in an episode today.
Yeah, you got him, man. Do it once a week.
A lot of people aren't.
Yeah. All right, what do you got?
All right, first one is Chael Sonnen hearing a rumor that there could be a Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley on Tough. So they'll have a season of Tough and then fight in the end.
Oh, so when are we going to get rid of Tough? And this comes from Tough alumni. Tough.
And this whole sport runs on rumors. And every time we hear a rumor, it turns into something. There is a rumor that they are working on Tyron and Colby Covington.
That's what I was going to ask next.
As coaches for the Ultimate Fighter. And the way that works, the two coaches ultimately fight for one another because Tyron's the champion. The title would be on the line. I don't know that rumor is true, and I don't know who started it. But I know that dialogue is out there. And like anything, if it does gain, this is a business first. And guys always want to argue, well, I've got the wins and the resume on my side. The wins and the resume is wonderful, but the mandate of the masses trumps everything. If people get on board with wanting to see Colby versus Tyron more than they get on board with seeing Tyron versus RDA, that's the fight.
The reason why this is important is, again, Chael's not a journalist, but Chael usually has an inside. When he talks like this, he usually knows something that's up. I think it's a bit of a mistake. Now, do I want to see Colby versus Tyron Woodley? Yes. I think that'd be an interesting fight, especially with their background. I think they need to get rid of Tough or revamp Tough or do something completely different.
Yeah.
The ratings are 10% what they used to be. 10% of what it used to be. So they also have a problem they need to address. But just booking, listen, I think if you do Woodley, Colby Covington, it actually hurts them. I think if I'm a manager, I would not advise a fighter to go on the Ultimate Fighter. B, you're stuck in the Ultimate Fighter contract, which is shit. Trust me, it's terrible. And you're stuck in that for a very, very long time. The reason why it made sense when I was a fighter was because when I was fighting, the Ultimate Fighter actually meant something. You had legit fighters on there. You had a ton of eyeballs. We would get, average 10 million viewers an episode. It was huge. They get less than 100,000 sometimes per episode now. So you're not getting the same shine. So, yeah, you could sacrifice your first initial contract in the UFC, but you had a big name. You could make up for it in sponsors. Well, now you're still on that shit contract. No one really knows you, and you're tied in the shit contract fighting these actual UFC fighters. I would advise all fighters not to go on the Ultimate Fighter.
Wow.
Yeah. So having Woodley and Colby Covington, if I'm Woodley and Colby, I'd say I'd rather not do that. As coaches, you really don't get paid that well either. It's a lot of time. Woodley's better off talking about it on his podcast. It probably gets more listeners than it would if he was on at Fox Sports 1. I actually think doing that hurts the fight. Does anyone watch The Ultimate Fighter anymore? No.
Yeah.
Does it create hype? No. How much shit talking are they going to give us? All right. We've seen it how many times? How many times are you going to keep regurgitating the same product? How low do the ratings have to go when you keep booking these guys? Where if I'm a upper tier guy, I'm not doing The Ultimate Fighter, man. That's a bad idea. That's a bad look. And for some people, it actually hurts their perception in the public. Because it's a heightened sense. It's really you're not your typical self. You're around this guy you don't like. There's a lot of shit talking. If you go about it the wrong way, people are going to mark you as that type of person for the rest of your career. I name one positive being an Ultimate Fighter coach or being on the Ultimate Fighter right now. Now, if it's your only way to get in there and you have 2 or 3 fights like some guys did on my show, all right, do your thing, man. But for Woodley and guys like Colby, absolutely not. What else you got?
All right. I think we talked about it last week that Floyd said he was talking to Dana, and Dana said he was talking to Floyd about Floyd going into the UFC. And now Floyd is saying that he's not doing it. He was just saying that he could, if he wanted to, make $1 billion in the UFC.
Yeah, listen, whenever you hear something out of Dana's mouth, Floyd's mouth, they're both promoters now. Floyd's retired, but also, it's not that Dana's a bad guy or that he's just a bullshit artist, but he's a promoter. He's a celebrity. He's the face of the UFC. So this stuff, when Dana comes out with this stuff, how many times have we been like, dude, he's just bullshit. He's just lying. If you take it by his word and go, man, what he says should be true. It's not fair. He keeps lying. Remember, he's an entertainer to the fullest. That's all he is. He cashed out $400 million. He still does some stuff with UFC, but in general, he's a celebrity. If it was just about money, you'd never hear from him again. No, it's about being in the limelight. It's about being on camera. It's about all this stuff. So when he mentions Floyd Mayweather, it's going to get picked up, especially in a slow sports world right now, especially in the MMA world, boxing world. It's slow. So it's going to get picked up. It's going to be the number one news story. With Floyd to stay relevant, him to comment on this, there you go. So it's just one way that they can stay relevant, one way they can get in front of a camera, one way you're still talking about this stuff. That's all it is. Don't believe much of it. I wouldn't believe much of it at all. What else you got?
Well, this is also part of this. Oh, no, not this one. I'll go back to this. But DJ, Demetrius said that if Floyd was to come in, then DJ would go up 20 pounds to face him, and then he would also not do any grappling.
Is he allowed to kick?
He's allowed to kick, clinch, and all that, but not grapple. He would actually do that with the fight with Floyd.
I mean, I like it and gives Demetrius Johnson a little more shine, but if he's allowed to kick, Demetrius Johnson will absolutely destroy Floyd. I just, all these guys trying to get this shine off Floyd now. Everyone needs to move on. It's never happening. It's almost a waste of your time. If anything, DJ should be calling out TJ. Like, hype that up. That's the possibility of that's more likely to happen than you fighting Floyd Mayweather inside the octagon. That's never happening. Ever. Why would Floyd fight you inside the octagon? Think about it. What bonus would he have? Name one positive that would come out of that.
That is very true, though, because he wouldn't be making a ton for each fight, right?
I mean, I'm sure they pay him somewhat. Probably the most they've ever paid any fighter if you were to do it. He's only going to do it once. He's not making $1 billion like you would in boxing, but he's only going to do it once. You're fighting a guy who fights at 125 pounds, so it's almost you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, he wouldn't do it for any less than what he was getting in boxing, right?
No, we might as well talk about Godzilla fighting Bigfoot.
Damn, I really wanted to believe that he's coming in.
Waste of our fucking time. No, he's not coming in. You will never see him inside that octagon. What else you got?
All right. What I just passed by. So Stephen Thompson is actually calling out Rafael Dos Anjos to fight him first before he gets the title shot.
I love Wonder Boy. That being said, Wonder Boy's in an interesting predicament where we've seen how Wonder Boy and Woodley dance. We've seen it. They're just not good partners. That first fight had some fun. Second one was awful, but does anyone want to see a third? Not really. You don't want to regurgitate that again. But Thompson is, the number one, number two guy. He's right there. But I don't want to see him fight Woodley. In order for Wonder Boy to get a title shot, Woodley has to lose. The UFC is not going to give him a title shot. They're not. That fight, that last one kind of screwed him over. Plus, 3 times, same guy. You didn't beat him. You're 0-2 against him. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Even if you were to beat someone like RDA. So for Wonder Boy, he has to hope someone takes out Woodley in order to get a title shot. Otherwise, it ain't happening. I don't want to see Wonder Boy versus Dos Anjos. I'd rather see Dos Anjos versus Colby. Let Woodley get his surgery, recover from it, and then the winner of that fights Woodley. Wonder Boy should fight a guy like Till. I think Darren Till would be fun for him.
Awesome.
Although there's not a lot in it for Wonder Boy. He's like, what? I'm ranked number 1 or 2, where the fuck he is.
1, yeah.
But what you can't have is Wonder Boy be the gatekeeper to get to Woodley because he's so damn awkward and tough to figure out. He just murks all these guys, so you're forced to a third fight with him, which you can't sell that third fight. You literally cannot sell that third fight. So he has, in his best interest, he has to hope a guy like RDA beats Woodley, or Khabib does his thing this Saturday, then goes to 70 and beats Woodley. He needs something at 70 to happen, but with Woodley being head of the throne there, it's never happening for him. That's tough. It sucks for him, but that's the nature of the business. What else you got?
David Branch. He's actually calling out Yoel
Branch,
Romero.
my man. Name the movie. Trolls.
What?
Branch, my man.
You have so much movie knowledge from super random places,
I know,
too.
it's weird. What else you got?
Well, so he's calling out Yoel Romero, and no one's calling out Yoel, apparently. So he said it respectfully. He says, Yoel Romero, people have a reason to be feared by you, my friend. I want to fight the most dangerous people in the world, and you're one of them. So he called out the day, too. February 24th, UFC on Fox Orlando. And then he tagged Dana White and Mick Maynard.
What else is Yoel gonna do? No one wants to fight the guy.
He answered back, and he said he says, yes, let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. Yoel just wants to fight. Fun fight. I'd watch it. They both need a fight. Why not? I wonder if me and Mark Hunt kind of agreed to fight each other like this, and I got notified from UFC brass. It doesn't work that way. You guys don't make your own fights. Oh, all right. Now this is back in the day. Now guys can do this, and maybe they entertain it because there's a little bit all over the place. So hopefully it works out for them. But I was told it doesn't work this way. But a lot of times, the fights start on the internet. Now this is a fight people must see. Do they have something bigger in store for Yoel Romero? Maybe. For David Branch, his last fight, he got murked by Luke Rockhold. He got broke. I don't know what he's ranked. For Yoel, I think Yoel just needs a fight. No one wants to fight the guy right now.
If you were the promoter and say there was nothing planned for Yoel, would you go ahead and say this is the fight I'll do?
Yeah. Why not? In Florida. I think I'm down in Florida end of February. I think so. I think I'm in Tampa and Orlando. Damn, right around the
Well,
same
then
time.
definitely want this fight going on then. Maybe
it's not like a a must-see fight, but whenever Yoel's fighting, I'm definitely tuning in. Hopefully it happens, especially if they both want to make it happen. Branch would definitely be an underdog in that fight. What else you got?
All right. So Turner could be a major. This is what the headline says. Turner could be a major player in the new UFC TV deal. So a writer for Sports Business Daily, John Orand, said that there could be talks where if Turner was to be a part of if the AT&T deal with Turner were to be approved, that they would likely go with the UFC for a TV deal.
Let me break this down. So, television deal between UFC and Fox is nearing. And Mixed Martial Arts Promotion may be in the market for another partner. While Fox has handed UFC what many consider a lowball offer of $200 million, they want $450 million. UFC definitely needs a larger payday if WME is going to close any ground on its $4.2 billion purchase. Luckily for the UFC, potential merger between AT&T and Time Warner could lead to a bigger piece of the pie. According to the report by Sports Business Daily's John Orand, Turner could become a major player in forming a new TV deal with the UFC should propose. So they have to hope this merger finalizes, which could take a lot of time by the time they're up for negotiations. Mm-hmm. So I know Fox is the clear front runner to retain this package, but I have an inkling that once the AT&T deal gains approval, Turner's David Levy will sign a big-time media rights deal that would put the UFC on AT&T platforms. Imagine UFC fights on True TV. Ooh. Pay-per-view on cards on DirecTV. Ooh.
I thought they were already on there. I didn't know.
Ooh. Mobile programming on AT&T Wireless. Ooh. Over the top's right. Turner's plans. Yikes. A caveat, if the AT&T deal is rejected or it takes too long, the UFC will cut a deal with Fox for around $250 million that will see Fox give up shows like The Ultimate Fighter. The UFC will shop elsewhere. Who in their right mind would buy the rights to The Ultimate Fighter? Oh, we need those 100,000 viewers a week or less, please. Amazon showed early interest in picking up the streaming package, but ultimately will pass on the UFC deal. Yeah, it's a tough go, and I hope they find the right fit. Hopefully, because you want the UFC to do well if you're a mixed martial arts fan. So hopefully they find the right fit. That Turner package does not sound fun at all. I don't know if that's the right fit. Obviously, money wise, that's what they're banking on. They need $450 million. If the Fox only gives $250 million, but they shop the Ultimate Fighter around, who in the fuck would buy the Ultimate Fighter?
Unless like they do what you said, where they change everything around and it's super fun to watch.
They're not going to. They're stuck in their ways. Although you would think someone's like, dude, the ratings suck. Last time the ratings were good when we had Conor on, even those ratings weren't great.
Even with Brock, it wasn't as amazing, right? I just remember when I watched Brock, I thought he was larger than life when I didn't see him on that show. When he was on the show, he just became sort of more normal to me, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, they needed to figure something else out. They'd be better off shopping Dana White's looking for a fight. Like the fighters that come out of there and how it's, it's more about fighting than more about the less real world, more about fighting. That's what they should sell. I'd focus more on that, revamp that. I wouldn't revamp it. I'd sell that package, put some money behind that, opposed to the Ultimate Fighter. The Ultimate Fighter is a sinking ship. You know what? It's not even sinking. That bitch sunk a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I used to be a avid watcher of it.
Dude, I never missed it. I never missed it. And then, look at the ratings on the finale, this past finale. Low's not even, low's not even a word you describe those ratings. But you'd think someone at Fox is like, dude, we need to figure out what to do with this Ultimate Fighter. What we're doing is not working. What else you got? I hope they figure it out, man.
Okay, so the paying tiers, the Reebok paying tiers has changed for the lowest fighters.
Oh, yeah, we going Sizzler low fighters. What do we got?
So fighters with 3 or fewer appearances in the UFC will receive $3,500.
Ballin'.
Before they would receive 2,500.
Ballin'.
And those with 4 or 5 will make $5,000.
Ooh. I mean, it's a step in
Also-
the right direction, so you can't hate on it too much.
They both were receiving 2,500.
Yep. According to the UFC Chief Operating Officer Lawrence Epstein, more than half the UFC's roster falls into those first 2 tiers. This gives the shorter tenured fighters on a roster an increase. We felt this was the most impactful, meaningful way to get more money to our athletes. Gotta pay them more, man. Gotta pay them more.
Yeah, so just for those first 2 tiers.
Well, it's a step in the right direction. I don't hate on it, but I mean, they're not even close to what they should be getting paid. What else you got?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, Jimmy Rivera.
Such a bummer. Jimmy
Yeah.
Rivera no longer scheduled to compete at UFC 219. Lineker's out. That would have been such a fun fight. Jimmy Rivera's my guy to watch 2018. It's not a big surprise, but last guys I said to watch was Tony Ferguson and Max Holloway.
And then, he was wanting Marlon Moraes, and Moraes actually called out Rivera a while ago.
I know that's a great fight.
And then, so Moraes says he wants it on his terms, but then Rivera said, okay, I'll give you to 140 pounds. He didn't want that. He's actually giving him to 145 pounds.
Damn.
And it's still not happening. So
Now, I don't, Rogan and I talked about this on his show, but I don't think it, listen, I want to see Jimmy Rivera versus Marlon Moraes. I would love to see that fight. I want to see Jimmy Rivera versus Lineker. But for Marlon, it's smart not to just jump into this fight a guy like Jimmy Rivera on whatever week notice, 2-week notice. In the grand scheme of things in your career, it's much smarter to actually do this right, have a proper camp, and then fight a monster like Jimmy Rivera. Because I think Jimmy Rivera would probably beat him. It's a great fight. I think it goes decision, but Rivera's an absolute monster. He's not someone you want to take on short notice. Even though you're dying to fight him, and it's a long time coming, the smart thing to do, and I think his coaches, Mark Henry, probably told him, hey, this isn't a guy we just jump into. I know you want to fight him. I know you think you can beat him, but on short notice is a bad idea. And he's right. So it sucks for the fans, sucks for us, but good for the fighters. What else you got?
cool. So yeah, John Lineker's thing, which was a tooth issue, but then he's actually having tooth surgery today because of this issue. Have you ever heard of anyone with any kind of tooth issue not being able to fight?
It must be bad. Does it say what kind of tooth?
Lineker said that 3 weeks ago he had root canal. I've never had a root canal, so I don't know how that
Did
is.
he get infected or something?
That's what they think. That's what he thinks it is.
It could be a problem for sure. Especially
It's
on
crazy. It's
if
so
you're
crazy
on
to hear.
antibiotics, stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I think they call it too when they take your tooth out, and if it's a dry socket, you're in trouble. Yeah, they'll reschedule that fight or move on. But either way, for a guy, listen, Lineker's not a guy who's just gonna throw something up like, I'm out, man. So I believe him.
It's a pretty
For
crazy
sure,
one,
fix
though.
your tooth though.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Let's check here. Oh yeah, so Ozdemir, the case won't be dropped, so it has to be heard, an arraignment set in court. So he has to show up to court and get officially charged with this, and then he has to fight it. But the thing is, this happens 11 days before his fight.
I'm sure the UFC did their investigation and dotted their I's, crossed their T's before they went on and gave him the title shot. So I bet it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Sounds like he's protecting his girlfriend. These morons decide to test their fighting ability against one of the best in the world, and they learned very, very shortly that that's not the thing to do.
But this will mess with his head, wouldn't it? For the DC
I don't think
fight?
so. No, I don't think so. He realized what happened. It's not that big of a deal. He'll have lawyers take care of it. Not a big deal.
There you go.
He'll focus on DC.
All right, Khabib. His nutritionist says that he's actually ahead of schedule where his weight should be right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, so they wrote down UFC wants fighters no higher than 10% of their weight class on arrival, and he's under that.
Wow. This is a nutritionist, this
Yeah.
Tyler Mealy Minton
Tyler Melee Menton.
at the Mealy Way.
Yeah.
I love he put sorry haters.
I mean, he looks fit there, but
Hell yeah, he looks fit.
don't know how much that means.
Yeah, man, Khabib's a nightmare. Especially if the weight cut's not a huge issue for him. He's gonna give a lot of people a lot of problems. So Khabib weighed in 169 pounds today. He has until Friday morning to cut 13 more pounds. Yeah, he's on track, isn't he?
That's a good amount of weight?
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially for a guy to come down as much as he comes down on. Wow.
That's interesting to hear. 13 pounds just sounds like a crazy amount to me.
I love the sorry haters. Yeah, if Khabib figures out this weight thing, he really should be fighting at 70. But 55, he figures out. Good luck beating that guy. Him versus Tony, I have to see. What else you got?
Let's take a look. All right, Don Cerrone versus Yancy Medeiros for UFC Austin, February 18.
Fun fight. I need to get my ass to Austin, do some stand-up. I don't know why.
If you do, let me know. I have to go because my family's there.
In Austin?
In Texas.
Texas is fucking huge.
Austin's an hour away from all of my family.
Oh, really?
So it'll
Your
be like
family's in what city?
It's like Coppers Cove area.
No idea where that's at. I love
Killeen.
Texas.
Have you heard of Killeen?
Nope.
All right, cool.
I know Houston, Dallas.
Yeah, so it's an hour away
Station.
from those places too.
All right. Love Texas. Love Austin, Dallas, Houston, all that. Those
Do
areas.
it. Do a show
I could
there.
live in Texas. Like if you could bring Hollywood to Texas, I'd move there. I could definitely live in Texas.
I loved living in Texas, so I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. We definitely need to get out of Texas, dude. Stand up there.
Do it.
I'll bring you with me, Jen.
I'm going. I don't care if you're not bringing me. I'm going
All right.
with
Deal.
a camera.
What is this? Cerrone was expected to return to lightweight. Produced this fight for him after dropping three straight fights. Cowboys last seen against Darren Till. So now he's fighting Medeiros, coming off that crazy fight. It's weird they're putting him right back in there so fast. I don't know if it's the smartest thing for Medeiros, but he wanted it. Hopefully, yeah, Cowboys should pass this test. He's had enough time off. He should be all right. Good fight, though, especially for a fight night. What else you got?
Let's see. This I just thought was funny. So the headline says, Chael Sonnen, Chuck Liddell snorted all his money away. Because, there was talks about a possible matchup between Liddell and Sonnen.
Yes.
Well-
Which I do. Both you stop it.
Well, that's already off the table now. And this is just what he says. You want to read it? Or you want me to read it?
Fucking Chael, man.
It's so funny.
He put oh my God. So he put, what I think, regardless of the way I tell the story, I think Chuck Liddell is probably a pretty good guy, Chael says. He's got to walk he's got to walk around with that haircut. Looks like he lost a bet. That can't be easy to do. It's easy to be Chuck. You're broke. You snort all your money away. It's not easy. It's not
an
to
easy
live.
life.
It's not an easy life to live. I don't need to kick him while he's down either. If he wanted to come back, we could agree to a match, then maybe things would be different. But I think in this setting, I wish him well. God, that's hilarious. It's so ridiculous.
He's just super funny. I love it.
Chael's hilarious. You got to walk around with that haircut. So
Like he lost a bet.
Yeah, how long does he rock that haircut? What age does he grow his hair out? Chuck Liddell's a legend, though. I don't think it's money troubles for Chuck at all. Love Chuck, love Chael. That's hilarious. Ugh, that made me laugh. What else you got?
Let's jump to... Well, this one we kind of talked about before, but during a media call, Cyborg says she wants to eventually box, like McGregor did. Like, be able to do that while under contract, too.
No, the only way it's going to happen is if there was some superstar in women's boxing where the UFC could cross promote and make a good amount of financial gain off of you competing in boxing. Otherwise, you're never going to see anyone else do it. You're also not Conor McGregor, so that's the other thing. I don't see the UFC letting everyone do this. Now, if the UFC does do that Zuffa boxing, and they want to cross promote that way and build Cyborg as a boxer there, I could potentially see that. But as far as her fighting on Showtime or HBO or anything like that, or ESPN, PBC fights, I highly doubt they'd let that happen. Be awesome if they did, but I highly, highly doubt it. There's just no famous women boxers.
I can't think of
You have
one.
Shields, who's a monster.
That's her friend, though, right?
Yeah,
That's her
well,
buddy.
yeah, but, again, there's no superstars. So the UFC's not going to entertain it because it's all about the bottom line, which is money. What else you got?
Cool. All right, Josh Emmett. He wants Brian Ortega for the title eliminator
Josh, I like you. Beat it, nerd. Brian Ortega does not want that fight, meaning there's no upside for him. You miss weight. You knocked out homeboy. Great job, but no. You don't jump to the front of the line. Why would Brian Ortega take that fight? You just burst on the scene. You didn't make weight. Short-term fight. I'm not holding that against you. Great knockout, but you don't get a shot at a guy like Ortega who has a body of work. He's worked hard for this. He just beat Cub Swanson. I'll say it again. Cub Swanson choked him unconscious. The next fight for him is not a guy like you. It's just not. It's not happening, man. Great knockout of Ricardo Lamas. If anything, you and Lamas should run it back. Brian Ortega ain't the one, though.
Run it back and then both on weight, right?
Yes.
Just to be fair.
Yeah. You're not getting Ortega, my man. What else you got?
Cool. This is more, I just wanted to know what you think about it. Cody Garbrandt gets a tattoo of his wife.
Love that. Two great-looking people. Cody, first-team all-dime piece. His wife, first-team all-dime piece, and she has a twin. Holler at your boy. Keep going.
So the tattoo is of her face in a tiger, like it's
like a Conan kind of type of thing.
Yeah. And there you go. That's what it looks. Well, that's the stencil, and then you can see what it looks like right there.
Is there the original picture?
I think they just created this picture.
Really? Mm-hmm. Of a lion eating her? Or it's like a hat?
No, that's a hat. It's a hat.
I bet you she's wearing a hat like that in Thailand or some shit. Scroll to the very back. Is there a picture at the beginning?
It's just like an art piece. So I think someone drew it. Yeah, so it's just an art piece that someone drew, and then
see the final product.
Let's see it here. So that's the stencil.
That's the drawing. Drew. That looks like his wife.
Yeah. And that's the final product.
They fucked up on the upper lip. The shading's off.
Wow, you can see that immediately.
Yep.
I knew something was a little off, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah, they gave her like the weird kind of thing, the lip thing there. I'm sorry, does she have a cliff palate? No, she doesn't. So why would you do that on the tattoo? It's not bad work, man.
It just doesn't match exactly.
Portraits? Oh my God, portraits? I've seen some really good artists, people bringing their sons or their daughters, and you're like, oh, I didn't know your kid had Down syndrome. Like, he doesn't. Like, well, what the fuck is that? Not that there's anything wrong with Down syndrome. I'm just saying, there's type of look they have, and that's what kind of happens sometimes when you get not a bad tattoo artist, but portraits are goddamn tough to pull off. And that one's good. I just think he fucked up on the upper lip.
I can't believe
there's too much shading on the left side of her lip. Yeah. There's too much shading on the left and right, so it looks like she has. I'm trying to think of an example. Gilbert Gottfried. She has the upper lip of Gilbert Gottfried. She has from the bottom of her nose to the top of her lip. It looks like Gilbert Gottfried. You can't have that. Can't have that. Too much shading. You did too much. When if you're an artist out there, if you're drawing and you just you just keep going, you can't stop. That's what happened. Shaded too much. You did too much. If you would have just left it, it'd been fucking perfect. Now it doesn't look like her. And now my boy Cody Garbrandt has a tattoo of his wife in a beautiful tiger hat, but the upper lip is off. And he has to live with that for the rest of his life. Thank you, whoever the tattoo artist is. It's his uncle, huh?
Oh, man.
God damn it. I'm sorry, Cody.
It's a great tattoo, though.
It's a great tattoo, but the top lip is off. His girl is prettier than that. Didn't do it justice. Amazing tiger, amazing shading. Everything looks great. You messed up on that upper lip. Let's be real here.
Can they do anything with that?
Nope. Sure can't. Tattoos are forever.
Damn. Well, it still looks good, I think so.
It does look good. That upper lip is off.
All right, let's move on. DC. He would be okay. So it says here he would be totally secure with what his career has, what his career is right now.
Hell
yeah. But he would consider a return to heavyweight to close it out, and then he would beat Stipe or Ngannou in his mind.
Hall of Famer, if his career stops right now. Now, as far as him move up to heavyweight, I'd love to see that. Remember, he's the heavyweight champion of the Strikeforce Grand Prix tournament. You'd be in the likes of Josh Barnett. Bigfoot Silva. So, and he competed. When he first got the UFC, he was a heavyweight, undefeated. Now, How's he match up against Stipe? I think he matches up well. That'd be an amazing fight. Against Francis, I have no idea. I have no idea how that would go for him. I think he's going to destroy Ozdemir. I think it's just a bad match for Ozdemir. But now heavyweight, I think he does well. I think he does really, really well. He beats, matches up against everyone very, very well. But Francis, he scares me. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a chink in his armor this January 20th in Boston. But right now, I don't know if at DC's age, if you want to fight a guy like Francis. But hey, DC's DC for a reason.
Let me throw a curveball at you. Let's say John Jones returned to heavyweight and he was going to take on Ngannou. Would you still give John the overall advantage, or?
Yeah, I think John beats Francis.
Ooh.
Yeah, he takes him down. Avoids the huge punch and takes him down.
Cool.
Yep, wears him out. Doesn't get knocked out. His length is what gives everyone problems, especially power punchers. But we will never see that.
All righty. Well, that's all the currents. You want to go down to...
Oh, let's break down UFC 219. It's a great card, man. But for the end of the year show, not a slobber knocker, as the kids say. If you're a balls deep fight fan, it's a good one. There's some great matchups on there. But yeah, it's not going to, I bet it does.
They still left this on here.
I bet it does 400 pay-per-view buys. I'll say 450. Yeah, I'll say 450. I'll say between 350 and 450. All right? That's what I think happens. Start with the first fight on the main card. You got Carlos Condit versus Neil Magny. Neil Magny is an underdog here. This is what, for me, which is alarming about this fight. Carlos Condit, his last fight, talked about retirement, talking about how he can't take the right punches anymore. Then all of a sudden he wants to come back, face Neil Magny. Neil Magny can beat anyone in the world. He's beat Hector Lombard. He's beat Kelvin Gastelum. He's beat Johnny Hendricks. He's beat some of the best guys in the world. The only time Neil Magny ever has any kind of hiccups inside that octagon is when he fights a world-class gentleman on the ground, like Dos Anjos, who took him down, did work, or Damian Maia. He struggles with that. In the Lorenz Larkin fight, he just didn't take it serious and got murked, in that first round. But other than that, look at the guys he's beat, man. He beat some tough customers, super tough customers. Tim Means, Dirty Bird, beat him by decision. Alex Garcia's a good one. Eric Silva, decision. Kelvin Gastelum, decision. Hector Lombard, TKO. Johnny Hendricks, decision. And then, when he fights those upper echelon guys, they just do work against him on the ground. But he doesn't really have to worry about that with Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit, he's going to want to keep it standing. He's one of the most dynamic guys on the feet. But Carlos has fallen on hard times. His last win was against a weathered Thiago Alves. That was in Brazil. Thiago Alves, goddamn, I can't believe he's still doing it. So, but he's fallen on some tough times, man. He lost to Damian Maia. He lost to Robbie Lawler. And that Damian Maia one was he just got outclassed. And, but then that Robbie Lawler split decision, which was for the world title, was fight of the night. So that one's back and forth. That's probably his best outing in a long time. That could have went either way. The thing that's alarming to me is how bad does Carlos Condit want to do this anymore? He's not going to take Neil Magny down. He doesn't want to play that game. Neil Magny has beat some of the most dangerous guys in the world on the feet. He's not a knockout artist, but Neil Magny, if you play his game, he's tough to beat. Great cardio. As the rounds go on, he gets better, sticks behind his jab. He just outpoints you. So Neil is an underdog here. I like Neil as a dog. I think Neil beats him.
Boom.
Second fight, you got Calvillo versus Carla Esparza. Man, I know Cynthia Calvillo's huge. She's a favorite here. The UFC obviously wants her to be the next big thing is in this division, especially when it comes to females. They're looking for a next star. She's getting a bunch of push behind her. You see her on all the marketing and all that stuff. She trains Team Alpha Male. She's had some good wins. She's had some that were suspect. I thought she did beat Calderwood. She's obviously a monster on the ground. Her striking's getting better. I just feel like there's this huge disrespect when it comes to Esparza, who's your first champion at that weight class. Remember, she won off the Ultimate Fighter. Remember, she beat Rose, who's your current champion. I don't know. And I think she beat Marcos in that split decision back in February. I don't get it, man. She just doesn't get a lot of respect. The UFC, even though she was the strawweight champion, the first of all time, since then, she just hasn't got a lot of respect. You know, she lost the belt to Joanna. Okay, nothing to hang your head on. And then, you know, she had a kind of a long layoff. You know, hasn't been that relevant. But I feel like they bury her on these undercards, and I just don't get it. And I know the UFC wants Calvillo to be the next big thing, and she has the mentality, she has the warrior spirit, and I love watching her. But this isn't a cakewalk for Calvillo. And I know the UFC is just putting all their baskets in her kind of, their eggs in her basket. The MMA guys really don't work like that. You know, we've seen over and over. They do not care who you want to be marketable and who you're going to sell your fights after. So I think this is a closer fight than people think. I know Calvillo is a beast on the ground, but Esparza's wrestling could be the difference. As a dog, so if I'm trying to make money, betting on Esparza here is not a bad deal. If it stays on their feet, it's not like Calvillo's this amazing striker. I don't see this huge disparity in strengths and weaknesses here. Calvillo's probably going to win, but if I'm looking to make money on betting, I bet on Esparza. What is she? She's a plus 215, plus 245 for some. So not a terrible bet, but Cynthia more than likely than not will win this fight, and by finish. And that's what the UFC is hoping for. If you see all the marketing and stuff like that, she's a monster, man. And this would be her 5th win this year. She had 5 wins in the UFC.
Cynthia or Esparza?
Cynthia, right? How many times has she fought this year? This will be her 4th, sorry.
2, 3.
So she fought 1, 2, 3. This will be her 4th fight this year. 4-0. She were to win this one. You know, the girl's doing work, man. It's a serious threat. You know, they need a star there. She's definitely, she's an up-and-comer, that's for sure. And you can tell the UFC wants this. So she should win, but I look at that matchup, I go, God, it's kind of a tough matchup for her. You know, Carla was the former champ. She's beat Rose. She's faced tougher competition. Cynthia's not exactly a wizard on the feet. I view that it's definitely, if Cynthia doesn't get a finish or take her back, or if she gets your back in so much goddamn trouble, but if she doesn't get her back, this thing's definitely going to decision. Also, her nickname's the Cookie Monster. So we don't have Rivera, Lineker. Why the UFC still has it on the page. Details. Leads us to the co-main event. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Edson Barboza. I will say this. If I had to give you one lock, like one for sure pick on the card, which I'm not that sure about any of these picks, Khabib would be my pick. They said, who's most likely to get out there unscathed with a win? I'd say Khabib. The only problem I have, look at his record for God's sakes, 24-0. The only problem I have with Khabib is the long layoff. He hasn't fought since November of 2016, which is against Michael Johnson. Obviously, he ate that punch. People were like, oh, man, his striking's a little suspect. He got wobbled. I guess he ate it a little wobbled and did work and made Michael Johnson quit, for God's sakes. He submitted him, but still. Remember, he's punching him, looking at Dana and go, I don't want to do this. Give me a title shot, man. I don't want to have to keep doing this. And then he ragdolled the guy who's probably going to fight for the world title at welterweight with Rafael Dos Anjos. I mean, literally, go back and watch that fight. Ragdolled him. But the thing with Khabib, he's just not active enough, so he loses his hype. He loses all the steam and momentum he has because he misses weight, liver failure, doesn't fight often, but there's a reason they still rank him so high because you realize his skill set. It sounds like he has a nutritionist. How he hasn't had one before this is beyond me. I have no fucking clue how he gets to this point without having a legit nutritionist. So now that weight's not an issue, Khabib's going to be a real problem. I know Barboza's on this win streak, and he's probably the best technical striker in the division, especially at 55. And, you know, he's a nightmare, but stylistically, it's just a nightmare of a matchup for Barboza. It really is, man. I know Barboza doesn't want to entertain the ground game, and he's going to be anti-wrestling and all that, but when you get to Khabib's level, you have to be able to grapple to beat this guy. You literally have to, unless in that early stage, if he can get something off with a knee and wobble him and get Khabib to start kind of second guessing and get into that brawling with him. Khabib's the best, one of the best in the world because he closes the distance without taking damage. And once he gets any sort of grip on you, especially with both hands, you're going down. So you got to be able to stand back up and recover, but I just don't see him being able to do that. I really don't, man. I think Barboza's going to struggle in this fight. He's one of the best in the world, but when it comes down to straight up matchups, this is a nightmare for him. It just is. He's beat Anthony Pettis, beat Gilbert Melendez, and they beat Dariush with that flying knee, which was amazing. But before that flying knee, Dariush was doing work. And then his last loss came from Tony Ferguson, which was a Darce choke. So I see this fight, I will say a TKO or submission, late second round, early third round for Khabib. But if I had to pick one, the ring rust bothers me a little bit, but Khabib has so much experience, and he's such a nightmare of a matchup for Barboza. My lock is Khabib on this fight card. This brings us to the main event. Cyborg, Holly Holm, long time coming. Chris Cyborg, finally your UFC featherweight champion. Holly has, people ask me, has Holly competed at this weight class before? Not in the UFC, but she has competed in boxing at a heavier weight class. For Holly, right? Interesting story. Undefeated. Finally gets to Ronda Rousey, right? Gets that epic head kick by the most recognized knockout in UFC history. And then she falls on tough times where, she's beaten Miesha Tate and then loses the fight with 2 minute 30 left, or where the fuck it was in that last round. So she loses the belt, right? And then she gets to Shevchenko, which is this big card in Chicago on Fox, loses that by decision. So you're like, God damn it. And then she fights for the featherweight title, the inaugural featherweight title. And I thought she actually beat Jermaine Duranamy, but they gave Jermaine, which is some bullshit. And, the court, they don't overturn it. There's so many issues with that. Jermaine vacates the belt because she's scared as fuck of Cyborg. And she ruined her career doing that. And then, then she gets to Betch Correa and head kicks her. But before then, didn't knock your hair back. It took to the third round to knock out a Betch Correa. So when it comes to Cyborg, and people say, well, Cyborg has that similar style to Ronda Rousey where she'll go berserker and rush her, and that sets up Holly for the counters, and she can create the knockout. Yes and no. Cyborg and Ronda are completely different strikers. Cyborg's such a much more high-level striker. Such a high-level striker. You can see it in her freaking Muay Thai bout against that monster, that undefeated monster where it went to decision. She ate some of the most vicious shots and kept going. But, Cyborg is different animal. Now that Cyborg's with Perello as a boxing coach, we saw in the Tanya Evinger fight where she didn't go berserker. She was calm, controlled, had a great balance, center, low center of gravity, and she kind of stuck to her jab, picked her shots. She's still a headhunter, she's still a monster, but was more under control. And when I see that version of Cyborg, I go, oh man, people are screwed. People are super, super screwed. So, and here's the other thing you gotta worry about if you're in the Holly Holm camp. What if Cyborg goes, all right, you know what? Holly's a lot quicker than I thought. I'm really not getting my right hand loose. I'm really not landing shots, these body shots. What I'm going to do is take her down and grapple. Then you're going to have problems if you're a Holly Holm fan, because Cyborg is a monster on the ground. She's a black belt. She grapples all the time with that Gabby Garcia, who's literally a monster. Just by sheer size, besides Mackenzie Dern, who she beat Mackenzie Dern, but Gabby Garcia is the best in the world as female grapplers. That's her main training partner. So, and she only grapples with guys. So if she goes, you know what? I don't need to make this as exciting as everyone wants. I'm going to wrestle her and get the win and just stick to being the world champion. Now you have a bigger problem in your hands. So I look at this fight, I look all the way around, and I like both women. I think both are phenomenal fighters. And I think what's at stake in this fight is whoever wins this fight, Holly Holm or Cyborg, both can claim the title of greatest female fighter of all time. You look at Holly's resume, granted she's fallen on tough times, those previous three, but from murking Ronda Rousey in her prime with a head kick knockout, the best knockout in UFC history, to beating Cyborg, who's the most feared and controversial female fighter of all time. If she were able to pull this off, she goes down in the history books as the best of all time. Best of all time. She has those blemishes with Jermaine Durandamy, which is bullshit. Throw that out. Shevchenko, legitimate loss, but, and then the Miesha Tate fight, that was tough, but I just think the overall beating a Ronda and beating a Cyborg, that puts you at the top. Now, if Cyborg were to go in there and do what the bookies think and gets it done, she claims the title as the best female fighter of all time. So that being said, I think Cyborg wins, I will say, TKO round 3. So let's wrap this up. I have Neil Magny via decision. I have Cavillo via submission. I have Khabib Nurmagomedov via TKO or submission, late second round, early third, and I have Cyborg via TKO due to punches, third round. If I want to make money on this and I want to bet on dogs, I'll parlay Neil Magny with Carla Esparza. My dog bet, which I feel comfortable putting money on, like a significant amount of money, would be Neil Magny. And then the one where I'm like, I get the odds are good, I guess I'll take it, would be Carla Esparza. Not super confident in Carla. I think Cynthia's going to get it done. But again, if I'm trying to make money, I'll parlay Neil Magny and Carla. But that, and the other one that I do like, which is a sleeper, and we don't talk a lot about the undercards, would be Rick Glenn, Miles Jury. I like Rick Glenn as a dog, too. If you know Rick Glenn, he's a bit of a nightmare. Miles Jury is on and off again. He has a lot more skill than Rick Glenn, but Rick Glenn has something to say. I think Rick Glenn could pull the upset, too. So I always give you guys dogs, because obviously any show you listen to, they talk about the favorites and who's going to win. Of course you think this favorite's going to win. That's all fine and dandy, but everyone's saying the same shit. So if I'm looking to make money, I'm looking to bet, I'm looking to pick an upset, maybe you're sitting around with your friends and you want to look smart or what the fuck you want to do, Rick Glenn, Miles Jury is one to look at too. And I like Rick Glenn via decision. The other one, Neil Magny, like I said, I like him most as a dog. That Rick Glenn one's fun too. And then Carla Esparza, I just don't like the disrespect. I know when a fighter feels disrespected, they're fighting for something more than the fighter who is on the good list of the UFC. So I tend to side with that fighter, and that's Carla in this aspect. That's why I like that Carla Cynthia fight. Great card though. Enjoy it, peeps. Enjoy it. Those are my picks.
Sweet. You ready for some fan questions?
I think so, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys sending in fan questions. We had a ton.
How about we start with Brandon Kelly, 70. Will we ever see a Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes?
Amanda Nunes?
Mm-hmm.
God, Amanda Nunes would have to come up there. That's such a tough fight for Amanda Nunes. That's a great fight. I don't know how she would do at that weight, but Amanda Nunes, not a lot for her, is there? Kat Zingano, she'd have to get a win, then she fights her. Julia Pena, I know we want to see, but she just lost to Shevchenko. She got submitted. Now she's pregnant, so she's out for a while. Jermaine Durandamy, you cannot sell her right now, running from Cyborg. God, that division's hurting, man. Depends what Amanda Nunes wants to do. I'm a Amanda Nunes fan, man. I really am. I'm a big, big Amanda Nunes fan. I would love to see her versus Cyborg. That's an amazing fight. She would have to come up. There's a lot of red tape there. Who's really signing up to fight Cyborg? Especially if Cyborg walks through Holly Holm. It's going to be tough to get Cyborg a fight, man. I guess just Megan Anderson. Name someone else in the featherweight division who's going to fight her. No one's trying to fight Cyborg.
What?
No one's trying to fight Cyborg.
Yeah, no one is.
That women's strawweight division is flourishing. There's so many fun fights there. What else you got?
All right, NJS913. Regardless of who wins between Cyborg and Holly, do you see any interesting fights at 145 that isn't between these two? And you just answered that.
Megan Anderson.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with her visa. Hopefully she figures that out. I know she listens to the show. Girl, you better get your ass back in there. Hopefully she figures that out because she's a tough customer. She's marketable. She looks good. She has the skills to back it up. There's no one in that division. They need to sign a lot more people who want to compete at 45. They need to let's go, man. Because what Cyborg? No wonder Cyborg's looking at boxing. She's going, okay, if I beat Holly, hopefully you guys fight. Hopefully Megan Anderson figures it out. What if she doesn't? Who am I going to fight? I'm just sit on the shelf. Like these wheels should be in motion. Like now, man. Let's set up this next fight. Let's have whoever's going to fight next sit in cage side. Let's go. Let's get this division hot, man. There's just not a ton of 145ers out there, especially that want to fight Cyborg. Look how many girls like, no. We'll stay at bantam. We're good. Joanne to me was like, fuck the belt. Take that. I'm not fighting that monster. Take it. Really? You're just going to vacate the belt? Yeah, I'll be the worst champion of all time. Fucking take it. That's what you're dealing with. So the UFC just needs to find some 45ers who are down. We know Megan Anderson. Got it. Check. So there's one. What else you got?
All right. Skeptical Hippo 01.
Great name.
Why does Dana keep saying that this is the best year the company has ever had when it clearly is not?
Again, you guys are pretending like what Dana says is word. It's just he's a marketer. He's an entertainer. I'm going to say this again. If it was just about money, if it was just about financial gain, he would have left a long time ago. There's an ego you got to feed there, being an entertainer, being a promoter, where you want to be in the forefront of news. You want to be relevant all the time. The only way Dana's going to be relevant is by saying stuff like this, getting in the headlines like this. He's going to paint a picture that he wants portrayed towards the media. It's the best fight. It's the best fight year we've ever had. Everyone who's in the know knows that's not true. But if my mom hears that, if my brother hears that, if my dad hears that, they go, oh, wow, UFC's killing it, man. Yeah, did you see on whatever, BillySmacksBasement.com, Dana White says it's their best year ever. Wow, that's crazy, man. I haven't heard much about it. I know there were a lot of fight cards. Yeah, well, the biggest story of the year was McGregor Mayweather. So that makes sense. So, when he paints this picture of the masses, a lot of people buy this hype. That's why he does it. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. What I'm saying, I'm not calling him a liar either. He's a promoter. Why you guys are taking offense when he goes, GSP has to defend the belt? We all know that's not true. But you have to say that in order to legitimize this fight. Know what's going on here. Know what you're signing up for. Of course he's going to say GSP is going to defend the belt. Because if he goes, hey, GSP is just going to this one fight and we're never going to see him again, everyone's going, what the fuck? I'm not watching that. This is bullshit. If he goes, yeah, no, GSP's back for reals, man. And defend this one, then who knows what's next? Like, ooh, this is fun. He's a promoter. He's an entertainer. Know what you're dealing with. Know what kind of animal you're dealing with. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is when you guys get upset that what he says doesn't come to fruition, or, that he pulls this or does this. Know what you're dealing with, man. There's nothing wrong with that either. I'm not saying what he's doing is bad. I'd be doing the exact same thing if I was him. It's entertainment. Indeed. When you listen, he's a far cry away from the guy who runs the NFL or the guy who runs the NBA or the guy. They can't do this. They can't go, Tom Brady's playing for the Chiefs next year, and then we're like, what? You can't, because those are legitimate sports. Yes, it's entertainment, but those are black and white sports. This is entertainment. This is the fight business. This is show business. Big difference. Completely different. That's why it's hard to compare this to other sports, because we are entertainment. What else you got?
Great answer. Jackson is asking, what's an average day or two of keto eating look like for you And what are your favorite high fat foods?
I get all the question about the diet. I actually have a keto box coming out with on it to help with a lot of this stuff. But before I got ill yesterday, almost died. I typical day is I wake up. So I wake up at probably 6 a.m. with my son, 5:30, 6 a.m. I fast all day. I might have black coffee before I do the show, and I'll have some Alpha Brain. And then after the show, I'll do a meal which will consist of, just in general, protein. So it's going to be fish, red meat, or chicken, a side of vegetables. That's typically it. And then I don't do any sweeteners, no artificial sweeteners. So no Diet Coke, no stevia, no Sweet and Low, no Splenda. I get rid of all that. If I drink coffee, it's just almond milk and black coffee, which I drink throughout the day. There's sodas called, forget the name, I blasted out, Waterloo. I think it's called Waterloo, where it's sparkling water, but there's no sweeteners, there's no anything in them, but they have the flavor of like organic watermelon and grapefruit. I'll drink those to get my fix. Then at night, and then I'll have a snack, maybe some nuts, a few cashews or pine nuts, something like that. Then at night, I'll do like a power salad, which I'll grill a fillet or I'll grill some sort of steak or salmon, and then I put on a bed of arugula or spinach, and I put a whole avocado in there, nuts, pine nuts, tomatoes, and some oil, vinegar, lemon, and that's my dinner.
A whole avocado.
That's the thing about this. You got to have fats, or you're gonna be starving throughout the night. So, all from nuts, avocado, MCT oil, you got to be constantly getting your fats. What you can't do on this diet is you can't do a high fat and then just eat like chicken and fucking fish, white fish with no fat in it. You're not gonna make it. You need the fat. So when you go to the store, like when I buy ground beef, I buy the 80% or 85% lean. I don't buy the strict 95% lean. You don't want the lean meats. You need the fats. I know it's weird. It's contradictory to what you hear, but it's much healthier.
So your favorite fats would be avocado and ground beef? Maybe?
Avocado, nuts, ground beef. Yeah. You can have yogurt, but it has to be whole yogurt. Like there's
low fat.
Listen, low fat yogurt makes no fucking sense. You might as well eat a Snickers bar. Low fat yogurt is taking the fat out of it, which is the healthy stuff, and putting sugar into it. It makes 0 sense nutritional. Skim milk makes 0 fucking sense. All right, carry on.
Do you like sparkling water?
Love it.
Really?
Love it. That's all I drink now.
I need to get into something like that then. All right. Mercia Merck. Is there anyone who you think can match Khabib's game in 55 or even 70, grappling on the ground?
Grappling-wise?
Grappling on the ground.
God. See, at 55 on the ground, Kevin Lee's wrestling's good. I would like to see Kevin Lee, Khabib. That's a fun fight. Kevin Lee off his back, I'm not sure. Dariush off his back is trouble at 55, but again, I don't know. At lightweight, no. I don't see a lot of people. Listen, Tony Ferguson on the ground is going to give Khabib some troubles with his elbows, with his guard game. That 10th Planet Eddie Bravo Jiu-Jitsu game plan is going to be prompt for Khabib when he gets taken down. That's probably his biggest threat at 55. At welterweight at 70, Dos Anjos off his back, no Punk. And then obviously you have Damian Maia. And Gunnar Nelson, who's a high-level grappler, but Damian Maia ate him up like Kobayashi. So I'd say at 70, Damian Maia, in a dream situation, I would love to see Ben Askren and Khabib go at it.
Oh, that's
at
a good
70.
one.
That's the fight.
That's a real good
Khabib,
one.
Ben Askren's the fight.
Sweet.
Neither one of them's actually a wizard stand-up, but grappling, that would be so much fun to watch. Khabib... You know what? Khabib Ben Askren is my number one dream fight. I'd love to see that. What else you got?
That's a great matchup. How many more you want?
Give me 2 more.
All
How
right.
long have we been going?
Hour 37. Pretty long. No breaks.
Give me 2 more.
All right. So I need rest. why don't we see cross-promotion fights in MMA? For example, the UFC 170 champ versus Bellator 170 champ, which is basically what you kind of talked about a little bit right now.
It's a terrible question. Look, just think about it. Why in the world would the UFC promote Bellator? Why in the world would they go, hey, we need you over here, man, let's do this? It's just, why would you promote? I get it, for MMA it'd be better, for the fans it'd be better, but if you're a business and you're the UFC and you're the creme de la creme, you're the top of the spear when it comes to mixed martial arts, why would you go, hey, Bellator down there, let's be honest, it goes UFC Bellator. I love Bellator, you know this, Scott. I love everyone involved in it, but why would the UFC go, hey, Bellator, you want to do this? It makes no sense in any aspect for the UFC to do that. Zero. You know this, though. You know this. People know this. You didn't need me to answer that. You know this. What else you got?
All right, last one. Ivan Godinez, 15. Do you plan on doing any B3 end of the year awards, aka who's your fighter of the year, fight of the year, KO sub, etc.?
Yeesh, I didn't even think about it.
That's a good question.
I didn't even think about it. I don't like doing fight of the year. There's so many people. So when you think fight of the year, let's just think of the ones that come to my head. I would give it to a few guys. So how can you determine who's the fight of the year? So you got Max Holloway had a great year. Francis Ngannou had a great year. Demetrius Johnson had a great year. Cynthia Calvillo had a great year. Ozdemir went from unknown to fighting for a title, for God's sakes. So Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker beat Jacare and Yoel Romero to become the middleweight champion of the world. That's what he did. So how do you pick Robert Whittaker, or how do you not pick Robert Whittaker? How do you pick Mighty Mouse over these guys? You know, Mighty Mouse in that conversation. You got Robert Whittaker, you got Rose Namajunas, you got Amanda Nunes. So you got all this going on, man. It'd be tough to give it to one person, but let's just name off a few. Robert Whittaker, 1A, Rose Namajunas, 1B, Francis Ngannou, 1C, Volkan Ozdemir, 1D. Keep going. Go up. Tony Ferguson had a great year, although he only fought once. Yeah, Woodley. Max Holloway. How can you not give it to Max Holloway? So, I mean, there's all these guys, man. It'd be tough for me to pick. Knockout of the year, the one that comes to mind would be the Francis Ngannou, which, you know, obviously recently happened, but the way he knocked out Overeem, that was one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen. Submission of the year, I know everyone has their pick, stuff like that, but I can't take a fight that's on the prelims and give anyone submission of the year. Granted, it could be the most difficult submission to pull off. What I look at is the stakes, where they're at in their career, who they're fighting, level of difficulty, and what they're fighting for. And when I check off those criteria, Mighty Mouse. Are you shitting me? The mighty armbar, whatever you want to call that armbar, where he picked up Homeboy, where he picked him up. Ray Bork, who's a black belt in mixed martial arts grappling, he picked him up, who's known for his reversals and is known for being a monster on the ground. He picks him up and in mid-air transitions into an armbar. They go, yeah, but it's a standard armbar. No, you're missing the key points here. He did it in a title fight to break the record of Anderson Silva. There's no discussion who gets submission of the year. Level of difficulty, Ray Borg, master on the ground, fighting for a world title. He's ranked number 3 in the world. At the time, I think he's ranked number 1 or 2. I think he's number 2 behind Benavidez before he lost. So he's number 2. All right. It's for a world title. It's to beat Anderson Silva's most title defenses. And then you armbar submission, and you do it a way that we've never seen before. Sir, you get Big Brown Breakdown Submission of the Year. There's no question about it. I don't know what other awards they give out. Newcomer of the Year would be Ozdemir or Kavia. Breakout Fighter of the Year would be Brian Ortega. Again, how you give out these? Or is it Darren Till? Or is it Kobe Covington? Or is it Perry, even though he just lost, but everyone's talking about him, you know? Like, you look at this new crop of guys. Or is it Justin Gaethje? There's these new crop of up-and-comers that are bursting on the scene. Kobe Covington, Darren Till, Ponzinibbio. You got Perry, Justin Gaethje, Kevin Lee, Brian Ortega. Jimmy Rivera. I mean, there's a ton of them, man. Francis Ngannou, Ozdemir. And then Robert Whittaker out of left field. So the awards are a little tough to give out, man. They really are. But those are just to name a few.
Well, you did kind of name them.
I'm just not the only one I'm officially giving any title to for the Big Brown Breakdown would be Mighty Mouse Submission of the Year. If you want to call it the Mousetrap, I think someone called it the Mousetrap.
I think he changed it.
I'm an 80s baby. It's the Mousetrap. Mousetrap gets Submission of the Year. Other than that, I mean, Knockout of the Year. It's hard not to give Francis that knockout. Is just so goddamn brutal. Although, Overeem's knockout of Mark Hunt with that knee was pretty fucking legit. I could go all day about who should win awards. I don't believe in really giving anyone one particular award, but as far as Fighter of the Year, because Robert Whittaker, a bunch of guys get Fighter of the Year. Kelvin Gastelum had an amazing year. How about Kelvin Gastelum? How do you not give him Fighter of the Year? Although he had that blemish with Chris Weidman, so take him out. Either way, he had a good fucking year. He had a great year. There's so many to list, man. So hat off to all you guys. Thank you for giving me something to talk about. Is that it?
That's it.
We'll end with that, man. This is the last Big Brown Breakdown 2017. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys make this possible. You give me this job. So I love you. Tell your friends to subscribe, leave comments, rank it on iTunes. Our YouTube is growing like crazy, so I'm blasting out the YouTube page now. It is on the Fire and the Kid YouTube page. It's all in one. You can find Fire and the Kid and Big Brown Breakdown all on the Fire and the Kid YouTube page. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the sponsors for being part of this all year long. I have big news coming sooner than I can announce it. You guys will be the first to know. I suck at secrets. As far as stand-up goes, I'm at the Ice House tonight with Rogan, but as far as being on the road, me road dog, I'm in Portland, January 11th through the 13th. All those shows are almost sold out. Get tickets right now, tvack.com. And then I am in Denver on February 1st. And the 2nd and 3rd, I'm in St. Louis at the Helium. I'm at the Comedy Works downtown in Denver. That's one night, one show only, February 1st. St. Louis is the 2nd and 3rd. And then the end of February, I'm in La Jolla. That's the Comedy Store in La Jolla, basically San Diego. And I'm there for 2 nights, 2 shows each night. Get tickets right now. That is February 23rd to the 25th. So 23rd, 24th, 25th, I'm at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. St. Louis, the 2nd through the 3rd. Comedy Works Denver, February 1st. One night, one show only. That thing's almost sold out. Boston, you guys are unbelievable. The Wilbur Theater is sold out. I love you guys. It's going to be such a fun fucking show. Try not to cuss. Apologize. And then Portland, you're up next. 11th through the 13th. I will see you soon, Portland. Thank you guys for listening. As always, bigger, browner, badder. I'm Brendan Schaub. I'm out.